You see? Do they see you, big guy? It's so hard with that sun. Let me see. I kind of hard to tell. I may have to hold it. So out here with Lucky, of course. I might have to switch this around. See if I can do that now. There we go. Okay, that didn't work. Of course, he's drooling again. It's from the nausea and the medication. I can wipe that away and he'll be back within a very short time. Unfortunately, they said that's normal with everything's going on. He never was much of a drooler. Some dogs can drool a lot, and it's just healthy reasons. This is not normal for him. It's just from the nausea and the medications, unfortunately. But he wanted to come out. I've been sitting on it with him on the front porch for the longest time, and then tried to take him out to go to the bathroom, but he's having some difficulty. Today's pretty much going to be his last day. Tomorrow we're taking him in, send him on his journey, which I'm definitely not looking forward to. But at least he'll be able to rest. I'm sure some people are probably tired of these, but it's not as much for you all. It's also for me because these is memories for me to have more with him. And the more I put on there, the more his memory will be kept alive, especially after I'm gone. Because there is where his missing toe is. Daddy got amputated because of his first time he had cancer. Of course, feeding tube. Then you can't really see it, but one side of the neck, he's all white now. That's where he had the surgery done to get the second cancer out of him and where they did radiation. I think he beat cancer twice. And then, of course, the third time, but cancer never won. He was always tougher than them and stronger than cancer. Aren't you, big guy? Yeah, he would be so much more lit now and excited and happy. He's looks very sad. That spark is not in his eyes. It won't be much longer, though. Yeah, I know. You don't feel too good, do you? It was barking up a storm a few minutes ago. I caught some of it on camera. I put up a short of it. With regard to the feeding tube, I had a couple questions about it. I actually filmed a video explaining how I do it and everything. I'm going to upload that. Probably won't be till after he's passed. But you'll learn more about how it's done. I know there's a couple of people in here. Speak up and be recognized. It's a nice day today, so I've been having him outside most of the day. I always love to be outside and let him enjoy as much as possible. Hi, Chris Graffs 101. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing these until he's no longer with us. Hi, Ober Funk Collector. But he's definitely lost weight. This last couple weeks, he lost like 5 pounds. You start seeing his spine and his ribs because he's just not getting enough nutrition. Plus his mobility, I almost have to carry him out here. Just does not want to come out anymore and walk. Part of his weakness. Oh, thanks, Daryl Turnkai. So you're gonna donate 50? I've actually thought about, and I don't know if some people might think I'm a douche for doing this, but I thought about starting a GoFundMe for him and with his expenses because he just It's been so much money. I did one about a year ago. It wasn't very successful, but I thought about starting another one because I had to take out another loan a couple weeks ago for him, and I'm not sure how I'm going to pay it. So I'm really worried. So I thought about doing a GoFundMe for that. What do you all think? Would I look like a douche? Because by the time I do that, he's probably going to already be gone. But I really need some help with paying his final bills. It's just so expensive. Thanks, Dara. I appreciate that. Yeah, he's gone really downhill this past couple weeks. And tomorrow we're going to take him and set him on his way in his journey to the over the Rainbow Bridge. He had emergency exploratory surgery a couple weeks ago, and that's healed up fine. They could not find what was wrong, but they said his stomach was thickening. They took some biopsies, but it was really inconclusive. So when they put the feeding tube in, they put a scope in there, and they took a whole bunch more biopsies, and it came back on Friday as being cancer in the stomach and a really bad kind. There's a possibility with surgery and chemo for him, but the possibility of being successful is quite small, and it more likely will not work. So we decide we're not going to take the chance, because he's been through enough surgeries. I appreciate that, Daryl. Yeah, because I'm really thinking about doing the GoFundMe, because this is his bills have hurt me really badly financially, and I had to take out a loan 2 weeks or so ago, and it ended up having to be for like over $7,000, because when I took him in that day, he was bloating up really bad, screaming in pain. We thought it was the bloat again, so they had to do exploratory surgery to find out what happened, and it wasn't. But I'm not sure how to pay that loan off. It has to be paid off within a certain amount of time, so I'm really worried about that. And then there's a whole bunch of other debt with him. I will, Daryl. I'll tell him. I'll tell her. Well, you all have to maybe give us a call. I know Mom would like to hear from you. But I was trying to enjoy the outside with him as much as possible. And he's been through a lot. Cancer 3 different times. Almost died from bloat. Had to get his toe amputated for one cancer. Had to get surgery to take a tumor off his neck because it was cancerous, the salivary carcinoma. He had surgery on his stomach twice, 2 or 3 CAT scans, which every time he did a CAT scan, he has to be knocked out. I don't know how many times for x-rays, and then 16 rounds of chemotherapy. Every time he got chemotherapy, he had to been knocked out too. So he's been through a lot. I will, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate it. You mean coming down to visit, or are you coming down to move, Daryl? I was out here in my driveway at the moment. You know, this brick, it looks nice. I've heard it's expensive, but the driveway is definitely not as even as it would be if it was a flat paved surface. Will Darla be with you? Yeah, who else is coming with you, Dara? Will Darla be with you? Not really, Chris. They're around here, I know. Um, always wanted to buy an RV. I'm just not sure I'm going to ever be able to afford it now. I know Mom has talked maybe about renting one to take for a week and visit some places. That might be an option we might do in the future. But I'd love to buy a really smallest RV that you could drive that has a bathroom on board. So I'd love to visit some state parks and some national parks with that thing. When he had his one emergency, like it was almost 3 weeks ago now. I'm lucky. Well, he's lucky and I'm lucky, but that was the first day of the art festival at Epcot, and I was going to go that day, and I decided not to go because I wasn't feeling well. And if I would have went, we would have came home and we would have found him dead, guaranteed, and he would have suffered badly. Because when that attack hit where he was blowing up really bad, he was screaming in pain, and it happened really quick. 1 minute he's normal, and the next minute he's not. Yeah, I would love to buy one, a used one, and take it on some trips. Sometimes you could find one for a good deal. I've looked at some of these RV sellers that you hear online, like Camping World and some other places like that. But even used ones can be expensive. And you don't want to get one too old because you can have a lot of problems with it. But I'd like to get the smallest one you could drive with a bathroom on board. That's all I need. Just make sure if you get one, Chris, you get a book that has, or a good website that tells good places to, if you have to park, and where you can empty out the tank, and all those other things. Yeah, I wouldn't just buy one off the street and without having it checked out, because you could buy something like that and it could be a lemon, and then getting your money back would be very hard. Yeah, look at all that drool. It's from nausea and probably medications. Oh, I tell you, it's not very comfortable for an older fat guy like me to be sitting on the ground like this. When I was young, I could have done it all day. Not now. This really kills me. Kills the knees. That's what I hate about this time of year. It gets dark earlier. If this was June, it wouldn't be dark until like after 8. But I would start pricing around. I would check some of those RV dealers in your area too. Search online, look into it, get an idea. It all depends on how much you want to spend. I've looked a little bit. Yeah, there's some places you could just park it. It's not too bad. Now you got to make sure some won't have like an electrical hookup, and then some will. You have to make sure it has the amenities that you want and need. Now, keep in mind, if you're just having an RV and you want to park, say, if somebody's want to visit and stay there for a long period of time, like in Arizona, you're going to want to somehow also have the ability to get around. And I mean, if it's, I suppose you could take the RV and go places and come back and park it back there, but I know some people have an RV and then they'll have a car attached to the back. I don't know about that. I'd worry about driving that. And then there's some RVs, if you have like a pickup truck, you could attach it to, park the RV at one of those parks, and then take the truck and go around. It all depends on what you want to do. Oh, so okay, so you want one of those RVs you would connect to a truck. Yeah, I was asking Daryl, who's coming down with you when you visit? Will Darla be with you? I hope your neighbor's okay. Actually, one of my neighbors had to be taken away in an ambulance a few days ago. From what I understand, he accidentally cut his finger off. But luckily, he's going to be okay. But I think it's minus the finger, though. I don't think they were able to attach it. Yeah, this is definitely uncomfortable. Let me try kind of semi-laying down. Let me put the... Yeah, you could go do one like on your adventures. Just if you travel, just kind of get research like the path you want to take and try to find some cool stuff along the way. And then some places just be spontaneous. That's what I want to do. That's why I want to see about getting an RV one day. Start with going up like the East Coast, visiting all these like small towns and roadside attraction type places. Let's just get in the money though. Like I said, he's hurt me pretty badly financially, so getting an RV is definitely not possible for a while. Then it has to be a small one because I definitely would not want to drive one of those monster ones. I mean, it'd be cool and great and everything, but no way. Unless someone wants to come with us who could drive those things. So Daryl, is Darla going to come with you in August? Hold this. Oh, does any of you all remember those lounge chairs that like folds? It's like 3 sections. They used to be made out of like that plastic tubing. Well, went to go online to try to buy one because I always found them decently comfortable. And I just found out I used to have one. I got like 12 years ago maybe. Of course, I got rid of it. And all of a sudden, I went online, and I don't think anyone makes it anymore. And they only have like vintage ones from like the 90s for sale on like eBay. And I used to like those chairs. They're so expensive, these old ones now. But I guess they're not making them anymore. Now to get the kind of chair I want, it's much more. It's not quite what I was looking for, but yeah. Well, all props to him. I wouldn't feel comfortable driving a big truck. No way. That requires a lot of practice and a certain amount of skill. That's why it would be one of those smaller RVs. sometimes it may sound mean, but I hope, sometimes I kind of hope where he goes to sleep and pretty deeply, that he goes to sleep and just doesn't wake up, because I think that would be the most peaceful way for him to go, instead of having to take him to the vet. But I don't think that's going to happen. If we wouldn't do what we're going to do tomorrow, he would linger on, maybe weeks, and then it would just go downhill more and more and more. And he would suffer before he would go naturally. And that's why we just got to do that tomorrow. I don't want him to have to do that. Yeah, they're doing okay. Yeah, I think they know he's sick, the way they've been acting around him. And when he's not home, they're lost without him, because he's like the elder statesman, you know? He's their buddy, especially with Chubbs, because Lucky was the one who used to play with Chubbs, not as much Angel, so they're going to be lost without him. But dogs are a lot more smarter than you think. A lot of people don't give them as much credit. There's a good angle where you can see where he's missing his one toe. He had to get amputated. His one pinky toe, which was there, blew up really fairly quickly. And first we thought it might have been something to do with the nail, but when they did some tests, they found out it was cancer. Luckily, it did not pass the joint, so he was able to remove the toe, and he was okay. But if you all have any questions or want to talk about any certain subjects, just let me know. I did do a video on how I've been feeding him through the feeding tube. I just have to film another part, how to make the food. But I probably won't get that up until after he's passed. I got to give him a bath or semi-bath tonight, because he's had a few peeing accidents, especially with that harness on. So we have to clean underneath him. I got to clean the harness again. Normally, he's very good with that. He doesn't make accidents in the house, but with him being sick, there's been a couple. Just he's not really eating. He hasn't pooped since like last Wednesday, but that's not unheard of, the doctor said, with what's going on. Yeah, I'm going to do a paw print with ink and then one in like clay. They're also going to do a nose print. We're going to get his ashes back, so we're going to cremate him. Probably we're going to take him right away tomorrow and put his body in for cremation. It's going to be put in a nice wooden urn with a carved top. We've done that for all the animals, all the dogs. Yeah. And see, he doesn't have that spark. He looks sad. But the cremation place, they're going to do all that. And we're taking it to the same place we got our other non-human family members done. Oh, hello, maybe it's Nito. How are you? It's been a long time since I heard from you. Yeah, this is Lucky's last day before we got to send him over the Rainbow Bridge tomorrow. He has cancer again, this time a pretty bad one in the stomach. And possibility of treatment working is very small, so we're not going to put him through that. And he's just not feeling good, and that spark is gone. He's very tired. Tomorrow's the day. Thanks, I appreciate that. Maybe it's Nito. The drools from the nausea, and I think some of the medications. The doctor says that's normal. But he has to be fed through a feeding tube now, which he does not enjoy. But he had a temporary one for a while up his nose, but he really hated that one because it was just so uncomfortable. But he almost died 3 weeks ago when we had that emergency when he bloated up again, and we thought it was to bloat again, but it turned out to be cancer. I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe it's Nito. Oh, so Daryl's at work. Daryl at work for. Okay, I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, I've only been to Disney once in the last 5 or 6 months. We went to Epcot for the Holiday Festival. Technically that's not true. I did go another day. I went to the Grand Floridian and Contemporary to film a couple things. But with Mom being sick, the dog being sick, I just have not been able to go again. I just haven't had the time. And since he's been like this for the last 3 weeks, minus the time he was in the hospital for almost a week, he cannot be left alone. And, to find a medical place that does medical boarding here in Florida is so incredibly difficult. I called all over Central Florida. Yeah, I found 3 or 4 places that does medical boarding, but guess what? They're not there 24 hours. He cannot be left alone that too long. He has to be fed a certain amount of times. He has to get a certain amount of medication certain times. I don't know how they could do medical boarding, not be there 24 hours. I was calling all over, but when we found out he has this bad cancer, I stopped because there's no need to now. I had a cat a couple times in my life. Maybe it's Nito, but it's been a while. I'm not opposed to getting another one. It just had to be an indoor cat that likes dogs, because I don't like the thought of having an outdoor cat. It's too dangerous for them. Plus, it's important for the dogs and cats to get along. Sometimes he's still very alert, Lucky, and then other times he just sees a bit out of it. I know some people are probably tired of these videos, but I do it for me, too. So I have to look back on. I'm going to go soon, so if anyone has anything else they want to ask or talk about, I'll stay another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to go. Yeah, most of the cats we ever had was indoor. We had one outdoor cat because the other place we lived at, the neighbor abandoned that cat when they left, and that cat was already at least a decade old. So we kind of basically adopted her and just fed her, and it wouldn't have been impossible to bring her as an indoor cat after, but she's been outdoors her whole life. One day I found her in the backyard screaming, rushed her to the vet, and they said she had a stroke. So we had to send her on her way. I always call her Kitty, but her official name was Victoria. That's what we have on her urn. Yeah, I heard that coyotes could do that. They can even take down dogs. I appreciate that. Maybe it's Nito. Try to keep in touch, okay? Don't be a stranger. Like I said, it's been a while since I heard from you. You're probably one of my longest subscribers that I've interacted with. One of them, at least. Yeah, lucky. Yeah, you don't have that spark in your eyes anymore. You look so sad. You don't feel good, do you? Yeah, well, I'll try to keep them in your thoughts and prayers tomorrow, especially in the afternoon. All right, thank you. Maybe it's Neil. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Okay, everyone, I got to get going because I have to bring him in. I got to be feeding him soon. And let's see. I don't got to give him any medicine yet, a little later, but I'm basically going to keep giving him his medicine to keep him comfortable as best as possible. Okay. I'm going to get going, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I may do another live stream later. I don't know. Maybe film a couple more shorts. And then that'll be it. And I'm going to film us taking him in. I'm not going to film when we send him on his journey. That's a very private moment that shouldn't be shared with anyone. But filming a little bit, driving over there and stuff like that. Like I said, this isn't as much for you all as for me too, to have as a memory. All right, I gotta go. Bye, everybody.